Isn't it frustrating when we've made a video and most of it is brilliant, it's going so well, and suddenly we make a slip up, we make a mistake, something happens in the background, who knows what's going on, and we could find ourselves having to go all the way back and redo it. But no, there are a number of ways to get around these problems and these mistakes, and in today's video I'm going to share them with you. They're quite simple to use actually. My name's Peter Thomson. I'm the UK's most prolific information product creator, and over the last 27 years particularly I've made hundreds of videos, some rubbish, some not too bad, and just occasionally I make an absolute cracker. It was either because I was in the mood, I was in the zone, or the content I was talking about was particularly powerful. Well, hopefully today it's going to be powerful too. The starting point of making mistakes is this: it's our mindset. I have this label for myself when I'm doing videos, and it's this label. I hope it's amusing, 'tis to me. And I call myself One Take Thompson. And what I mean by that is that when I've decided to make a video, I've done some good prep. So for example, I've got my notes written here. I have a little formula that I use. You can see it here. It's a little formula, creating video content formula, especially for YouTube. And so I have this way of doing it, and I make my notes here so I can refer to them, and I don't try and hide that from you. As you know, I'll go, oh, I've got my notes here. And so I'm doing that on the basis of, I'm making a promise to myself that if at all possible, I'm going to do all of this in one take. And if I happen to make a mistake, and it's not too bad a mistake, I'll leave it in. Now, if I make a complete hash of it, then I will probably use one of the 3 or 4 I think I've got down here, 3, yeah, maybe 4, cracking ideas that I can share with you in order to get round that problem. So let's have a look at this to start with. Oh, by the way, right at the end of the video, I'm going to give you a little technique that's used by some people. I certainly use this for when I make a mistake, which makes it so much easier for the edit, but I'll come to that right at the end. So the first way that we can deal with the problem of making a mistake is this one, is to get a graphic, and if we weren't aiming to use a graphic, just make a graphic and stick the graphic over the mistake. So let's say, for example, that I have I've stumbled over the words that I wanted to say. Well, that wasn't very good, was it? You can't have it ums and ers and all of that, which actually I will deal with in a different video for you, but you can't have that. It was terrible. So we can't have that. So what I've got to do now when I'm doing that particular bit of the edit is I realise I've made a mistake, and I do this. And I've kept my head exactly where I had it before when I was making the mistake, and then I just redo that bit of the content like this. And so here's what to do when we make a mistake. Now what I've got there is I've got a point on the video where I started to stumble, and I can go back, and now what I can do is put this new bit of video in by cutting out the bit in between, and I'll show you how to do that. And what I do is I get a bit of a graphic that's appropriate, and let's say I've made a graphic here. Look, I'll put it here and I'll show you picture in picture to start with, and it's called Dealing with Mistakes. Now, I haven't actually made that yet. I'm going to make it afterwards. Dealing with Mistakes, and I put it there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it over the cut. So when I've done that cut on the video and I've taken out the bit where all the rubbish was, I'm going to put that over so you can't see my face. You still might be able to see this part of my body, but I can cover up by doing that. Now, when I made one of my big video programs called the Accelerated Business Growth System, which is 36 modules of about 20 minutes each, so it's 12 hours of video, you can bet, and I was voicing it all from the script through a teleprompter, by the way, and I'll give you another video all about this, how you deal with teleprompters. But what I did there was I made a number of mistakes throughout the videos. You can imagine in 12 hours, you know, even if you're pretty good at doing it, which I think I am, you make a few mistakes. And all I did there was cover all the mistakes with graphics, with a thing like that, cutaway. Thing like that, that wasn't very good. Might change that later, or I might leave it in. So that's idea number 1. Remember, I'm going to come to that crazy bit in a minute, right at the end, about how you make it easy for yourself with these. There you go, that's done. Okay, so the next one idea that we can use is this, is to put a transition in. So again, what we're doing, if we realize that we've made a mistake, so let me make another mistake here. So what I've done is, in fact, I've brought the microphone into play and into shot, and I actually didn't want it to be there, so I don't want to do that. So I've paused now, I'm still looking in the camera, and I'm talking about the idea, about the second idea we're going to talk about. And the second idea is to use a transition. And all I do is I make a cut again, I take out the stuff that I don't want, and then because I've more or less stayed in the same position where I am in the frame, and as you know I'm on the thirds, aren't I? My eyes are on the horizontal third here, and my body's on about the vertical, where am I here? About on the vertical third here. So I'm on the thirds, as I discussed in the previous video. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to slot a transition in to that part. Now let me show you a few different transitions, and I'll just put them in afterwards, and a few of them so you can see the sort of ones that I use. Now, as long as you're roughly in the same place, then it won't look too bad. However, here's a little technique. You don't want to have just one transition in your video where you made a mistake, because it's pretty obvious that's what happened. So what I do, if I use the idea of transition, is I'll go back in the video and I'll make the odd split in the video and I'll put another transition in, so whoever's watching me, in the way you're watching this now, will be used to seeing the occasional transition. So when the one comes along, that's the one that covers the mistake, it won't be unusual. So that's a nice idea. And the third one away is this. And the third one is this. And I am going to come to that special bit in a second. It's to use a cutaway. So rather than having something coming over me and in the screen, so it's most of the screen, but you can still see that I'm in the screen, I do a complete cutaway. And that might be a cutaway to a bit of B-roll. So I remember once I was doing a thing about a webinar. No, it wasn't a webinar, it was a seminar. Let me start that again. So I remember I was doing a video once about a seminar that I was running, and I was saying in the video, why don't you come and have a coffee with me? And what I did was I went out on the A46, which is fairly near to where I live in the Midlands, and I got my wife with my phone, as it was, to video me standing outside Starbucks on the A46 going, come on in and have a coffee with me. And then we went into Starbucks and I actually filmed me. I bought 2 coffees, but I had the 2 coffees on the table as if it was the coffee that I'd got for you, the person who was watching. And so what I was able to do was I didn't voice that, I just was doing actions. And then I had my voice under it, which I'd done at a separate time. And I could use that B-roll for any mistakes. So you can either cut away to a static. And if you remember before we talked about Ken Burns. So let's imagine that I've made a cock up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a cutaway totally over that, but rather than have it as a static or video cutaway, I'm going to have it as a static, but I'm going to use Ken Burns over it. So I'm going to make it move slightly, because that will detract any thoughts about it being a mistake. So those are 3 cracking ideas that you can take away and use. And I've got loads more of these I'll do on a different video for you, perhaps even the next one. Now, what about that last little bit I said to you, which is a really good idea for when you make a mistake? This is what you do. Let's say I'm gabbling along here and I'm doing what I'm doing, and suddenly I realise that I've stumbled over a word and I've said, so that's how you make a light with this. Light? Didn't want to say that. So I really want to say, that's how you have a delight with this, for the sake of something. But when I come to edit it, how do I find that bit? Here's the little technique. This is what you do. So I'm going to do the wrong one. So that's how you make a light of it. I've paused now. I'm still looking in the camera and I do this. I just clap 3 times. I just clap 3 times loudly. And when I look back, and I'll give you a shot of this about here, you'll see there are 3 spikes on the audio timeline. Isn't that a great idea? So when you're editing afterwards and you're looking for the mistakes that you've made, you just scroll along, and where you see the 3 spikes, you know there's an edit to be done. That's it. Now, by having these various techniques, what have we talked about? We've talked about using a graphic over the cut. We've talked about using transitions, and we've talked about a cutaway, and we've talked about a little idea about the 3 claps. Then you can make much better videos without having to go back and refilm stuff when you've made a bit of a mistake. And I do make mistakes, but I do my utmost to live up to my own title of One Take Thompson. So I hope this was useful. So I hope that this was useful for you, and you're able to take these ideas away and use them so you can help yourself make better videos, either for content or for marketing and sales, which will enable you to have freedom from everything that may have held you back, and freedom to be, do and have whatever you set your heart and mind upon, so you can build for yourself a business and a life of choice. As you gather, I have a lot of fun making these. If you've got any comments, if you want to engage me in any dialogue, if you've got any questions about what we've done today, and this was a bit chaotic, I have to say, then put those down there. Oh, look, a graphic came up while I did it. Put those down there and I will gladly reply to you. And in the meantime, if I can help you in your business in any way, just get in touch with me, which will be success@peterthomson.com. Oh, there it is across the screen, success@peterthomson.com. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one. From me, Peter Thomson, goodbye for now. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos. Then click to watch the next video. Remember to visit our website at peterthomson.com and download your free copy of my latest book, How to Write Your Business Book in 5 days or less. Until next time, every success.